more sunshine again and expecting more trees to start changing towards that autumn fall color. It's coming up fast. And what did I read today? With all that announcement of a new drone by DJI yesterday, I guess more news about how in the US they may potentially ban DJI drones in general. And this one here says lawmakers want US to address risk posed by Chinese agriculture drones. I believe that was the industry of people that were actually trying to push back the most as well. It says a dozen US lawmakers on Friday urged the Biden administration to address the use of Chinese manufactured agriculture drones, saying their use on American farms poses national security risk. The House Republicans, including Representatives Elise Stefanik, Ashley Hinson, and John Milinar, who chairs a select committee on China, asked the U.S. Agriculture Department and Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency in letters seen by Reuters to detail the administration's efforts to address risk posed by aerosol dispensing drones. The lawmakers asked for a briefing by September 30th and cited the large number of drones produced by Chinese drone manufacturer DJI as a security concern. DJI, the Chinese embassy in Washington, and the agency did not immediately comment. DJI said previously it strictly follows applicable data privacy protection laws and gives drone users, quote, full control over the data they generate. The letter cited the fact that the U.S. Commerce Department has imposed export restrictions on aerosol dispensing drones that have potential to be used as weapons delivery platforms. Well, that's kind of an interesting thought in that regards in terms of why they would say, for example, red alert in terms of these drones. The risk of these DJI agricultural spray drones being manipulated to carry out an attack in the United States cannot be ignored. The letter said, relying on our greatest strategic adversary for technology critical to success of the agriculture production endangers the resiliency of our food supply. Stefanik called on the USDA and the Cybersecurity Agency to, quote, take immediate action to mitigate the risk of Chinese manufactured drones to our agriculture industry. She has posed legislation seeking to bar new DJI drones from operating within the United States. That does make me wonder though, with this, which argument are you going towards? The fact that people could modify these drones and use it as a weapon per se, or the fact that you're arguing it's Chinese made, for example, as part of the Communist Party, etc., etc. I mean, there are two different topics, and at the same time, if it is that idea where they could weaponize it, can't you do that with virtually every other drones that are out there, if that makes sense? So I don't think you can necessarily ban them just based on that anyways. And it goes on further to say the letter noted DJI agriculture drones use advanced sensors and can collect and interpret crop data that is, quote, impossible for the human eye to see, and argued that could be used by China to gain access into granular level detail on the stability and condition of the US agriculture sector. Like for example, that argument would be more about, hey, this is owned by China, the government can get all the information they want, whereas in the other one, again, it sounds more like an issue that could be true for any drone manufacturer. So what would you think about this overall? And then this was kind of interesting here. There's always been a topic of police, for example, using the drones and people worrying about privacy issues. Well, how about this one here? This one says, time for scrutiny of police drones, says privacy researcher after Vancouver arrests. A privacy researcher and civil liberties advocate says the use of drones by Canadian police forces have evolved with the technology, but scrutiny of their use is lacking. The concerns come after Vancouver's Chief Constable Adam Palmer revealed that investigators deployed drones to help locate a suspect in a pair of gruesome stranger attacks in the city's downtown on Wednesday that left one man dead and another with a severed hand. I think that's the one I read just the other day. For some reason, somebody got, for example, injured, stabbed or whatever, and then just an hour later or something like that, within the area again, another person got attacked. It says Palmer paid tribute to the role of the drone operator in the arrest of a 34-year-old White Rock man. Brenda McPhail, an instructor in the Public Policy and Digital Society program at McMaster University, says the public only tends to hear about police use of drones where there's been a success. She says the public rarely gets a line of sight into a failure or misuse of the technology. Does that count with the RCMP crashing their drones into manned aircraft as well? It was out there, but for some reason, not a lot of people actually talk about it. Even for example, drone operators that promote over-the-top regulations, they're always quick to jump on a recreational person, let's just say flying, quote, illegally or something like that. But when it comes to stuff like that, they're all quiet for some reason. It says McPhail says drone technology has changed a lot in the last 5 years, including newer and better cameras, and the potential to couple them with facial recognition technology, making it time for renewed scrutiny of police drone programs in Canada. She says the Vancouver Police Department's drone program launched in 2019 went through a policy process that included consultations with privacy and civil liberties advocates. The policy includes a ban on drone flights for surveillance purposes, except where there's an imminent risk to life or safety. Yeah, it's one of those things, for example, where eventually every official is probably going to use it one way or another. It's just a matter of when, I would say anyways, just with the current trend. And this was actually really fascinating, I thought. It dealt with AI and apparently somebody using it to create content, which isn't too far-fetched nowadays. I mean, there's AI that could literally write articles for you, generate videos. But in this case, apparently the person was creating music and at the same time using the AI bot to, I guess, generate things like views and exposure in order to rack up income. So it's like a scam. And this says here, man accused of using bots and AI to earn streaming revenue. Imagine that, huh? It says a musician in the US has been accused of using artificial intelligence tools and thousands of bots to fraudulently stream songs billions of times in order to claim millions of dollars in royalties. Michael Smith of North Carolina has been charged with 3 counts of wire fraud conspiracy, and money laundering conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say it is the first criminal case of its kind they have handled. Through his brazen fraud scheme, Smith stole millions in royalties that should have been paid to musicians, songwriters, and other rights holders whose songs were legitimately streamed, said U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. According to an unsealed indictment detailing the charges, the 52-year-old used hundreds of thousands of AI-generated songs to manipulate streams. The tracks were streamlined billions of times across multiple platforms by thousands of automated bot accounts to avoid detection. Authorities say Mr. Smith claimed more than $10 million in royalty payments over the course of the scheme, which spanned several years. Wow, can you imagine that? The guy got away with it for a pretty long time too, if this is all true. It says prosecutors said Mr. Smith was set to finally face the music following their investigation, which involves the FBI. And some more details specifically, it says according to the indictment, Mr. Smith was at points operating as many as 10,000 active bot accounts to stream his AI-generated tracks. It is alleged that the tracks in question were provided to Mr. Smith through a partnership with the chief executive of an unnamed AI music company who he turned to in or around 2018. The co-conspirator is said to have supplied him with thousands of tracks a month in exchange for track metadata, such as song and artist names, as well as monthly cuts of streaming revenue. Yeah, can you imagine that? I would imagine for things like music and stuff too, that's a little harder to tell anyways. But what a scam. It's like they say too, I guess, it's the first of its kind to be, I guess, investigated and prosecuted per se. Crazy what's going on nowadays, huh? All right, see you guys later.